Heart in pieces, torn apart, felt so low, couldn't see the way. Thought I'd never find the day. Broken down, but I'm not done. Picking up the pieces, one by one. Rising up, stronger than before. I'm finding me, I'm something more. Every step feels heavy, slow, but I'm learning how to grow. Scars remind me where I've been. Feel the fire to begin again. But I'm not done. Picking up the pieces, one by one. Rising up, stronger than before. I'm finding me, I'm something
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Severed Floor podcast. I'm here with my lovely co-host, the one and only Video Shane. Yes, you're lovely too, as well as Raven. What's up, everybody? I am so stoked, guys. We're going to be reviewing Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 5 and 6. 5 and 6, you guys. And also, we have a full panel in the studio. I will bring them up in just a minute, but let's go over what happened in Season 5 and 6. Starting with Episode 5 and 6, starting with Back to the Suture. I see what you did there, Gunn. In the 5th episode, it opens up with Rick Flag Jr.'s funeral, setting a somber tone as the 11th Street Kids grapple with the grief and division. Chris Smith, Peacemaker, confronts his regrets and makes a drastic decision to fully commit to an idyllic alternate dimension he believes is perfect, at least on the surface, leaving his team behind and heightening emotional stakes. Meanwhile, Rick Flag Sr. finally tracks down Chris for a tense face-to-face, while Harcourt navigates internal Argus conflicts as Adebayo and Vigilante like to talk about funny things about Greek. Guys, also, we have we find out what happens with Red and Eagly. Fantastic episode on number 5, but then we're going to move into episode 6 called Ignorance is Chris. Gun, I see what you did there too. And we meet the 11th Street Kids as they pursue Chris into the perfect alternate dimension, uncovering its horrific truth that it's a Nazi-controlled regime, Earth X, as we've been kind of stipulating here. And also, the white supremacy reigns the entire land, and the Sons of Liberty, whom Chris heroically stopped earlier, are actually the resistance fighters of that world. We see Chris bond with his alternate dad, Keith, and Harcourt after defeating a kaiju. Then later, a beautiful heart-to-heart moment with Chris and the real Harcourt in the alternate Argus. A Spider-Man Vigilante moment also happens as alternate dimension Vigilante finds himself and finds out that everything is the same, excluding himself. We also meet his mom in this episode. And also, we get to see the very end where Adebayo faces a life-threatening chase as a mob of people see that she's of color, and that is not a good thing in this world. And finally, we get a very shocking cameo at the very middle of the episode as Rick Sr. turns to an imprisoned Lex Luthor for help to try to locate the quantum unfolding chamber. Guys, this is what's going to be talked about today in the episode. Full episode right here. We're going to bring in the panel right now. Stand by. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining us for Peacemaker. We've got Shay, Metabeast, Slider, Raven, and Christopher, even though I already said Raven the first time, but sometimes you got to say Raven twice because that's how cool she is. Guys, how you been, Shay? We'll start with you.
Muted, Shay.
How's everyone doing? Great to see you all. Excited to talk about this episode.
Let's go. Metabeast!
Hey, is my mic on? Yeah.
Your mic is on.
Hello. Been a while. Great catching up.
There you
Very interesting for me. Big cliffhanger, so I'm excited to talk about it.
All right. Slider, how you doing over there, man? Off from another
Yeah.
dimension, I hear.
I am. Everything's pretty good, guys. Yeah, I'm just excited to jump into this episode and see, what everybody thinks about it.
Let's go. Raven, how you doing over there in Canada? I hear the
I'm
wind is
doing
nice.
really well. I'm still not over that intro, so I have to process that a little bit first,
Nice.
because the one you made was brilliant. But yeah, I really enjoyed episode 6. I can't wait to talk about it.
All right. There we go. And then Christopher, my friend, welcome back.
Thanks so much. Back in the flesh. Excited to break this episode, couple episodes down, and see what all you guys' thoughts are.
All right. Shane, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing awesome. Yeah, this is I'm excited to talk about this. These are some great episodes, and we had theorized what it was, and we were right.
Ooh, look at that, guys. I love it when we're right. And D, end it off.
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me. And I love to see a full panel. It's been like forever since we've all like met up here. So this is really cool. And yeah, I can't wait to talk about 5 and 6.
All right. Well, let's just jump right into it, guys. So, memorable moments on episode 5. I'll ask everyone's take on how they like it. I know everyone wants to kind of get into 6, but let's just talk and unpack a little bit about episode 5. Back to the Suture. A couple things that I noticed. I have my notes here. We start off with Rick Flag Jr.'s funeral. There's a flashback. We get to see a little bit of moments between Harcourt as well as Rick Flag. Senior. As they kind of talk about what's going on, and Senior's trying to figure out what's going on. What happened to my son? We also see the moment where Peacemaker meets Harcourt in the park. Harcourt sends him the text message. He doesn't listen. And what I loved about that scene, you guys, is like Peacemaker already knew what he's doing into. Like, as much as he's a dope, he is a very, very good dope. I mean, I saw him. He was like kicking the soccer ball with people. He was hiding behind the old lady to try to get a Harcourt. I thought that was a really cool way that they shot that scene. I really like that. So I can't wait to unpack that. We find out Bordeaux is a cyborg. She is a cybernetic. She's like Cyborg, basically. And so it makes you wonder, does she really have any emotions right there? You know, because of the fact that she was ready to kill Peacemaker. Harcourt knocks out Peacemaker at the very end at the park to save his life. And then we get to see Rick Flag beat the crap out of Peacemaker to a point where, thankfully, John Economos, he books Peacemaker. And I love that little thing where Economos was like, he gets in trouble for booking Peacemaker by Bordeaux, and he's like, I'm just doing my job, as an Argus agent, right? So I thought that was really cool. I also thought it was pretty funny that Economos knew that Bordeaux was a cyborg, and he actually had like a screenshot of her like mangled body as the screensaver, just to kind of like turn him off about her. So I thought that was funny, and he likes to make the joke like, why would you have a picture of her? It's like, I don't know, man. I didn't make my brain, so I thought that was funny. And then you see at the very end, Chris, he leaves the universe. He shuts the door. Adebayo as well as Adrian, they get that final moments. They see the doors shut. But at the last minute, we know Judo Master went in there. Also, we find out that Eagly is the Prime Eagle. There is a real thing. It's a Prime Eagle. I couldn't figure out anything of Prime Eagle in DC lore. But that's a real thing. And I can't wait to talk about that scene as well. And that's what happened in episode 5, season 2, you guys. I'm going to go down the line and kind of give you guys breakdown of the episode that you can remember. We'll start with you, Shane.
Oh, wow. You're putting me on the spot here. Remembering episode 5. Now that you gave me the kind of the rundown of it, I do have memory of it. Yes. I thought it was great that, Chris, he's cocky enough to think that he can go into a situation like that and still get out of it. And maybe not cocky, but he wanted to hear from her own words so badly that he was willing to put himself into that situation. Yeah, I thought that was great. Watching him, get the crap beat out of him wasn't very enjoyable. But Economos was fantastic. I love the interaction between Harcourt and who's the android or the synthetic
Bordeaux.
Bordeaux, yeah. And her telling her to get out of my face, and just her being just an inch taller than her was like that was great stuff. Yeah, I mean there was a lot of good things, but definitely 5 was a setup episode compared to all the exciting stuff that happens in 6.
All right, let's
Yeah.
go, Christopher, my friend. Unload it.
Yeah, dude, I gotta say, I gotta be on there right there with you, Shane. When Rick Flag was beating the crap out of Peacemaker, I felt that. I felt that scene, and I thought it was only gonna go for just a little bit, but it just kept going. And you just saw you saw the hole in the wall and everything, and I'm like, ooh, this is real. This is getting really real. But that probably was my favorite scene out of that whole episode.
Wow, that was your favorite scene.
That was my favorite scene. Yeah, I gotta say.
It was painful for me to watch. He's our guy.
He is our guy. He is our guy.
He can take it.
Yeah, he
Well,
can.
I mean,
He can. He'll come pull through.
He was getting beat really hard because if you saw Creature Commandos, Rick Flag is no slouch. He can beat people up, and they put a crack in the wall, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like Peacemaker literally made a crack in the wall because his body hit it, right? So, yeah, that was a good scene. What about you, Raven?
For me, I would say the scenes that kind of stood out in my mind. I honestly kind of went blank on episode 5 after I saw episode 6. But I think the whole lead up of Harcourt going to the park and stuff, and like the idea of what if she did really turn on him? Like he didn't really know. Like I was really hoping she didn't. But I really did like how that whole park scene played out. And then Eagly, I think, stole the show with calling in all the other eagles and taking out the bird hunter. I don't know what he was called.
Yeah, Saint Wild.
Red Saint Wild.
But yeah. But I did really feel like it ended where I wanted it to begin. Like I was, I'm like, that's all I've been waiting for the past few episodes was I want them all to go into this alternate universe and see themselves. So I was really looking forward to episode 6 because I was pretty sure that was the lead up of what was about to happen. But yeah, that was my take.
Awesome.
I love it. Slider.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the beginning of the episode, how it gave us some backstory into, Rick Flag and, Harcourt, and how kind of like, the whole thing with his son kind of developed, and, him trying to get information and her basically saying like, I'll take care of it for you, so you can kind of see like why he, is, kind of comes back to her later on and is, kind of upset that she hasn't done anything, but then I also like that scene with, the park where Bordeaux's about to take that shot, and then Harcourt just like jumps into action and, takes him down and like, takes him down pretty good, and then, yeah, I mean, those scenes stood out. Definitely the one in the interrogation room, and I think that was a good scene because you see like, Peacemaker, he just kind of lets himself get beat up, like he doesn't try to fight back. He doesn't try to do anything. He says, look, I know, your son was a good man, I know, but like I had to do what I had to do, and, just, take your anger out, basically. That's kind of what I got from that, and then, then also like the very end when they're going into the, the dimension, and, that scene where he's like reading the letter, and November Rain is playing the music and everything. Like that was a really good scene for me. I think James Gunn did a great job with the music and just then it, switching into Peacemaker's voice and that whole thing. It really set up like episode 6 for me. So yeah, that's what I got.
Yes, Slider. Yes. Go ahead, Metavis. You're muted, my friend. Uh-oh. He's having the tech support.
He's lost in the metaverse.
You're connected to Decentraland again, aren't you? There you
my
are.
internet's
there he is.
fine, but for some reason I'm not being able to hear and it cuts in and out. I'm rugging.
We got you now.
I don't know. I liked more eagerly action. I was really surprised. I mean, I guess we don't know if he's dead, but it pretty much seemed like they were going to peck him to death.
Yeah.
Unless he rematerializes as one of the clan now, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
But,
hasn't he been in like a couple of Guns movies already? He died in Suicide Squad, remember? He was like, he died really quick. And I can't remember who he was in that movie. But he played a character. And I remember in Guns podcast, they used him at the last minute, and this was a role that Gunn said he was going to die in.
So just to refresh my memory, does the attack of the Eagles happens in episode 5?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. My bad.
Yes.
Once again, yeah,
It's been a while.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So,
just
okay.
watched
have
it
to do
last
it,
night. So
Because Oscar Mayer has a way with BOLOGNA.
Oscar Mayer Wiener.
Oh,
I thought I had to do it.
you did it. You got it. Jay, I know you want to talk about episode 6 as well, but anything you can remember of episode 5 before we continue on.
Okay, well, I feel like everyone pretty much said everything that I was going to talk about. So yes, I love the backstory because we needed that. It's definitely a build-up / precursor to episode 6, which, as we've all said, is the defining episode of the season or the height of the whole storyline. And 100% agree with Slider that Flag beating up Chris was Chris's apology because he regretted it. He felt remorse and he felt really bad for it. So I feel like because he could have fought back. We know that. But the fact that he didn't was kind of his way of acquiescing and saying, I'm sorry, do what you will with me, kind of thing. And so I feel like it allowed me to have a little more, not more respect, but I respected Chris for that. And I felt like it really strengthened his character.
Love that. D?
Yeah, my favorite part was in episode 5. Yeah, was when Hardcore like tackled Chris and put him in a sleeper hold. I just like knocked the guy out just to save him. I thought that was really cool. And yeah, like I think it was Shane that was talking about when Bordeaux and Hardcore were like in each other's face, yelling at each other in the office. When we were watching the James Gunn's podcast, that character Bordeaux, she was like actually really scared of Hardcore because like she's pretty intimidating. So I thought that was really cool. Another scene too that it just kind of like caught my eye was when they showed Ads and Adrian at that cabin house. They were both on the steps drinking whatever tea they were drinking with the boombox, playing music, and the open door behind them. And that just kind of made me think of when Peacemaker or Chris was sitting on his steps at his trailer house with what's his trailer house? Yeah. Sitting on the steps with his hallucination of his dad. I think it was, I forgot what episode it was.
It's the last episode of season 1.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool, like depiction. I don't know if they're like even they did that on purpose. But I thought that caught my eye. And then another thing was when Saint Wild was just getting cut up by all the birds. I thought that was, I mean, it wasn't cool, but I thought it was kind of cool. They were just like attacking him because he shot with the punt gun. He thought he got Eagly, and come to find out it was like there's more bird friends and he thought was around, and they just kind of like swooped in and just like took him out. So I thought that was like very what is the word, not fitting, but not deserved. But you know what I mean, when you do something bad and it's like the tables get turned on you.
Yeah, it came back to him.
Yeah, karma
Like
kind of thing.
karma.
Yeah. There's a word I'm looking for. It'll come back to me later at the end of the show. But yeah, so I thought that was another scene. Yeah, that was another justified. Yes, that's the word. You win, Majin. So that was another
tell him that.
scene that
You already know, Jerry.
yeah, that was another scene that I enjoyed. And what else? Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff, but I think I'll just stop there.
Is that your crinkled notes? Well, okay, so I actually have a few things to talk about this episode because I actually really enjoyed this episode. Not only because we watched it last night, but what I really liked about this episode was the execution on certain scenes. Like I said, I really enjoyed the park scene where you see him running through like the soccer fields and the playgrounds, and he's talking to everybody. He even at one point sits on the wrong side of hardcourt and goes the other side. Like he knows, right? To a point where like he's holding, one of those guys, right? That was like during the time when Eagly beat him up, right? I forget his name, but he's like going in circles, like he's rotating, and you hear Bordeaux saying he's like in some kind of synchronicity as he's going around. Like he's really trained very well. So I thought that was really cool. I like this. I like the scenes with Eagly. I thought it was really cool where Eagly saw that the fox ate that. There was like a rat that was poisoned by Michael Rooker. And so he almost eats it, right? Then he sees what's going on, and Eagly figures out right away. We see that this eagle is super smart. And then, you got to love Michael Rooker. In Michael Rooker fashion, he can pull out a shotgun, but he pulls out this pipe thing to try to shoot down the bird. And I thought that was because he's also a gun enthusiast, right, in real life, this guy. So I thought this was really cool. And then you find out that Eagly is the prime eagle, whatever that means. That was a very interesting take as well. And then the last thing that I really enjoyed was not only this scene right here with the Greek thing, right, where he's like, I think you were having a prostitution conversation, right, because the guy's like talking about her ad, and she's like, oh yeah, hey Adrian, have you heard of doing the Greek before in security? No, but in sex I have, right? You're having a sex talk, and it's like, and to him it's like it's a real thing. It's like I don't disrespect people, I only kill Johns, I don't kill prostitutes. You guys have a job, right? So I thought that was pretty funny. What I really liked about the end scene was, and I like that Slider brought that up with the November Rain, where they're reading the note, right? And you really get a sense of Peacemaker, as in he really loves the 11th Street kids, regardless on either they treat him like crap or how hardcourt pushes him away, and all these other things, right? He loves them so much to where when the door closes, he leaves the device saying, give this device to Argus. It should help you guys all get your jobs back, and you guys can get all back on the right track, right? So he's not only leaving them, even though he doesn't want to leave them, and I'm sure if hardcourt said something different, it'd be different. That's another thing too. Like he could have left. He decided to go and get beaten up by Flag and do all those crazy things just to see hardcourt, just to have one moment to see if something was there, right? It wasn't there. He leaves a note. I thought that was a really cool way to end that episode. I really like that. I like the fact that you see him at the very end. He's flying with his alternate dad, his brother, and the eagle. I'm still wondering why they call him CRISPR. I'm wondering about that name. But so I really did enjoy this episode, even though that was an episode that was kind of a filler to get you to episode 6. So that was my take on this episode right here, guys. Anything else that you want to talk about before we transition to 6? Anybody? I guess not.
real quick. I mean, this was also the very first episode that we got to see Vigilante become emotional with Ash.
Yes.
Which was, I'm just going to say, especially after episode 6, if they want to do a spinoff of just Vigilante, I will watch every minute that comes on the air. That
Same.
is
I'm starting the fan
awesome.
club.
Yes, the fan club. His basement, and then he has his bizarre set of morals. Like during that conversation with Ads having the phone call about having sex, and he's like, "Oh no, their life is too hard already." But the Johns, no, I'll kill all of them. Like his bizarre sense of right and wrong is so interesting.
And he's serious about it too, right?
No, yeah, there's once he's made a determination of like, this is a good person, this is a bad person, that's it.
Yeah. Black and white.
Oh my gosh.
Ah.
And the way he talks to his mom is so horrible. But it just reminded me of him being such a like this teenager of like living in the
Yes.
basement. Just,
Mom, where's my meatloaf?
oh my
meatloaf,
gosh.
Mom.
And his mom is the best. Like she's willing to play Dungeons and Dragons with him. Oh my god, she's like the sweetest woman in the world.
Okay, so let's talk about
Annoyingly sweet.
let's talk about that then. Let's talk about episode 6 right here. Let me get a breakdown for the people that never seen it before. Because I don't have episode. Do I not have it in here? Did I? Oh no, I do. It's over here. Sorry, guys. YouTubery. Okay, episode 6, guys. We're going to episode 6. It starts off with the top trio in the alternate dimension. You see them. They're at a restaurant. They're taking a photo. In fact, I think I have that photo somewhere here. Where is it? There it is. They're taking a photo, and I'm not even showing it on the screen because I'm looking at another screen. YouTubery. There we go. All right. They're taking that photo right here. This is the opening scene. It's really cool. You get to see Peacemaker as the kids want to take pictures with all 3 of them. They're like the top heroes right there. We still don't figure out what's going on in the world yet. So it's kind of like this is like a happy moment. And I think this is where his last happy moment really is, because I know at the beginning of this season, we thought this was going to be one of his last happy moments. This was a happy moment right here. We also see the 11th Street kids. They decide to go chase after Peacemaker. They open up the QUC. They go inside, and they are now in this alternate universe where we have a very cool interaction between Harcourt and the brother Keith. I like that, Harcourt, she grabs anything possible right by her and says, oh, I came here to go pick up something for Chris, because Keith thinks that she was supposed to be with Chris, which is the other alternate Harcourt. And she's holding the dead mom's snow globe, right? And she's like, oh, Chris gave this to me. It's like, oh, well, that was given to Chris on my mom's deathbed, right? Why would he give that to you, right? So I thought that was a pretty cool moment while you have the 11th Street kids hiding in the closet right there. You got Economos wanting to throw up just because he thinks it's sick, right? He's just wanting to barf. So that was funny, too. We also see that Rick Flag Sr., all upset that he has missed Peacemaker, he goes to Belle Reve and he sees none other than Lex Luthor, who is going to help him try to track down the QUC for a price. And this price we haven't seen get paid yet, but it's my understanding the price that will be paid will be somehow shown or seen in Man of Tomorrow. So there's that as well. I thought the show stealer was Vigilante right here, as he's able to not only meet himself, but he finds out that himself is actually himself. It's like almost a carbon copy of himself, to where we have this meme right here on the screen, guys. So that was really cool. Also, we have a really cool moment between Peacemaker and Harcourt as well. I thought, to me, this, and I have a lot to talk about that scene right here. I thought this scene was so beautiful. And, I'm not like a big filmmaker like Video Shane here, but like when I'm watching movies and stuff like that, and I see like a beautiful scene like this is something that really, like, it caught my eye to a point where like I started feeling the moment right there with them, to a point now where they find out that things are awry in the world where they're at, and they see a Nazi symbol on top of the American flag, which raises the question, where did all the color people go? As Harcourt did point out, at the very end, we see Adebayo as she's walking the streets of the alternate dimension, and people are pointing at her like she shouldn't be there. And then you hear somebody yell, "It's a black!" And that is actually Keith yelling that, "It's a black." And they all start chasing her, which is insane. Concurrently, while this is going on, Economos is hiding in the mansion, which is the dumbest place to hide. And Augie comes back, and he not only subdues Economos, but he stabs him in the hand with a knife. And Economos tells him everything. So now the blue dragon or the white dragon, whatever his name is in this world, he knows everything. He knows that Peacemaker is the fake Peacemaker, and he killed his son. And we end with Adebayo being chased. That is episode 6. I'm pretty sure the crew has a lot to unpack here. We're going to start with Shay.
Well, first of all, I agree with you that was a very intense moment between Chris and Harcourt. I really liked how it was like her true emotions finally coming out, even though she tried to still hide it and put up walls. we could see right through. I mean, her eyes started getting watery, and I feel like that was maybe the first time we've ever seen her get so emotional. I feel like Chris can pull that out of her. He is the right person to do that because he has a connection with her that she doesn't even realize they have. So I really liked how intense that scene was. I agree with you on that. But I think hands down, my favorite episode was Adrian meeting himself because it was adorable. It was funny. It was like, I feel like if I were to meet myself in another dimension, I would have that same reaction. So that's just my personality. I'm very like bubbly also, and kind of, so I feel like that is how I would be. And so throughout this whole season, even first season, he has been just like, I know, Raven, you're going to be the president of the fan club, but I could be the vice president.
Okay, deal.
He is my favorite character of all. I love everything about him, and I do like how he has like kind of awkward, sometimes upside down morals, because it's like no one is a straight line. Everyone can have different aspects of morality, different parts of what they see are valuable, what are important, what are, how to behave. Everyone has different sets of codes of ethics, and that's okay, and even if it doesn't make sense, it's also okay. So I really love that about him. I think those are my most favorite scenes. But I do, also Lex's lines were so perfect. I love the way he delivered. He's such a, I don't know, I really enjoyed that scene. And I think maybe it's because I've seen it one too many times on TikTok over and over and over again. So I'm like, oh yeah, those were great lines. Great.
Different vibe, huh? Different vibe from Superman.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know
He's
what
got
else.
Like more of that darker tone.
Yeah. I don't know where else this actor has been on. I've never seen him before, but I want to go and find him because I want to see his, variety.
Oh, this guy right here?
Yeah. So I don't know what else.
He was Beast in X-Men First Class.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was Beast in X-Men First Class. He's also from Jack and the Beanstalk. He was in a TV show on the BBC for the longest time called Skins, and that's where I know him from.
And Shay, he's in a show called Warm Bodies, and it's basically he's like a zombie, but then he turns back to human, and it's really good.
Oh, okay. And that's a show?
Movie. It's a movie.
Okay. Great.
Looks like he's been hitting the weights while he's been in prison as well. He's a little thicker.
Yes, you're right.
Up.
Yeah.
Which is funny because in reality, they filmed this scene when they were filming Superman. So I wonder if they like added some extra pecs to him just to kind of like have time duration.
Yeah.
Because like everything was different from him, like his look, his feel, even his hobble. He even had like a bit of what they call it, his bitterness in his voice. You could hear it because he's hearing some dude next door, with the noise. Yeah. So
his voice was like a tone like darker.
Yeah.
Or like deeper.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he was talking.
Yeah, my favorite was when he was like, Peacemaker's not a hero. He's a glitch in the system, and I fix glitches. And I was like, oh man.
Yeah. I don't want to work for him as a client.
No IT support from him.
Yeah. I'll go work for someone else. Meta Beast, what's your take?
Okay. So I'll try to get to some things that maybe the others won't. So loved it. Of course, loved the vigilante part. Totally. The whole mom relationship did not surprise me. That was great. But the whole thing when they went in his secret bunker and all that money laying around, he's like, not you, that's blood money. And they start grabbing. I was like, that hell yeah, I'd do that probably too. I thought that was pretty good. And the other thing that really just sticks in my mind is just that ending. I started to feel it coming on. I forget when it dawned on me. It was just before he sees the flag pen, but I'm just like that. And she's, what the fuck? I mean, that was just crazy. But that was just crazy. I could never even imagine something like being in that situation, but it just occurring was weird to me, but very intense. And it's the first one to leave me really freaking wanting to know what's going to happen next. Because, yeah.
Yep, I agree. The dark times.
What about you, Slider? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Were you done, Metabeast?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I was gonna say the other part was the Economos thing bit at the end. I he just starts spilling his guts for no right off the bat. I'm just like,
Yes.
idiot. But
he literally tells everyone in episode 5 when Hardcore's saying like, "Oh, can you please book him?" He's like, "I am like the epitome of what a PUSSY would be." You know what I mean? That's him, right? Like, so he calls himself that, right? So like,
Right.
yeah, I wasn't surprised whatsoever. Anyway, Slider, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree with Metabeast on that first scene that when they go down into the secret lair of Vigilante, I thought that scene was really good. Just how like he walks in there like nonchalantly, like, and opens up the closet and he's got all these Beanie Babies in there. I thought that was pretty cool. And and
They're gonna
he's
be
just
worth
like,
something one day.
yeah, the market's gonna bounce back. But yeah, I thought that just how he like his morals, it's like Shane said, he just has a weird set of morals where he's like, yeah, well, I killed them and stuff, but I didn't want the cops to steal it, so I just kind of kept it, and but they're like, well, why haven't you used it? And they're like, you've been broke, and he's like, yeah, but this is blood money. Like, I can't use this, and I just thought that whole scene was funny. Then they're shoving the money in their pants and stuff, and yeah, that was a pretty good scene. I thought that was pretty good with Vigilante. I thought he had a really good episode this time. They like used him, more, which I thought was great. Yeah, then the next scene I would say would probably be the one with Lex Luthor, just because in Lex Luthor, like the one how he portrayed himself in Superman, I kind of wasn't really on board with him because he didn't have that like that something, and I think in this episode he did have that missing something that it was for me. He's just a little bit darker and a little bit more angry. I don't know, like how I would think of Lex Luthor being. So I thought he did a great job in this part. So yeah, and then probably the end scene too, where she figures out that this is like a crazy place where they want to kill her, and she's running down the street, and that was crazy, and then him getting stabbed in the hand, Economos, like I wasn't expecting that. Like I thought like he was gonna probably like spill the beans a little bit, I could see that, like you said, Hinano, but I didn't think he was gonna get stabbed in the hand. That was kind of like, whoa. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the main scenes that stand out for me.
Nice. Raven.
Yes. Is it time to talk about Vigilante?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So for me, I again was waiting, like the end of the last episode is just like, I wanted them all so badly just to go into that dimension. I wanted to see the other versions of themselves. And I love that Vigilante was okay. First, I have to say, I've never skipped the intro of Peacemaker until episode 6 because I wanted to get to the episode so badly. So I pressed skip intro and then started watching. But Vigilante, his like everybody else has like this normal reaction of, okay, well, we don't want to see the other versions of ourselves. They're freaked out. They're scared. He couldn't have been more pumped and excited to meet himself and to see this world, and I loved that. I did, yeah. I loved that his basement. I really hated the way he talked to his mom. He kind of pissed me off when he did that, but I get it. But yeah, when he met himself, he met the best friend he's been looking for. Like he's been searching for that best friend, and all along, his best friend was himself. Like I just that
That's so
scene,
cute.
the back and forth, the quickness. I loved it. I think my favorite scene of all time.
Same.
Raven, here's one thing I gotta say, Raven.
Yeah.
Now that he knows, though, that he is Peacemaker's friend and the other guy does not like Peacemaker, do you think the friendship will continue or will they divide now?
That'd be interesting to see, but I think there will be division there for sure.
I've got a really bad speculation
That they fight each other?
that Vigilante from Earth X kills our Vigilante and poses as him.
No, I don't like that.
No.
But I'm saying that like that could happen. Or he gets stuck, right? Like they switch, right? Like maybe at the end they close the portal and the Vigilante that we know is in the wrong universe, right?
Yeah,
Take it back.
Just because they're so
Take it back.
similar.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I don't like
Take
that.
it back what you said about Thor.
There is only one true vigilante. What else?
Prime vigilante.
Are the
And
are
is
vigilantes
that
could
vigilante
influence?
friends or foes with Chris?
Yeah,
think
I don't know.
I
What do you
think the
think, Jay?
vigilante that's friends with Chris would influence the other one.
Mm,
This is a different Peacemaker.
yeah.
I
It,
think
it depends on what I think what it is that he has such a beef with him for.
I think what's going to happen is he'll explain to him why, and then he'll agree with him.
Yeah.
The morals are the same across universes, I think, with
Yeah.
Vigilante, and he'll say, "Oh, I didn't realize what world we're
Yeah.
in. You're absolutely right. I'm on your
Yeah.
side. Let's fight together."
Mhm.
So we think, guys. I still think he may get killed.
Yeah, I'm
Nah.
curious to see.
That didn't even cross my mind.
You're right, because everybody can't live.
Biggest bro put up a tomato.
This can't be in the same country.
You know, Gunn would do something like that, bro. Gunn would do something like that. I mean, you're still keeping the character, you're still keeping the actor. It's just he's gonna play a completely different one. Like, what if, like, yes, you know, the morals are the same, so we think, but we really have not been in Earth X long enough to really think, is the morals the same, right?
No, take the eagle instead.
I agree with Biggest Bro. If Vigilante
Yes.
is gone, we riot.
Yeah, like I'm not even sure
Yeah.
if Hanana will make it into our fan club at this moment.
You voted out of the fan club, Hanano.
I'm with Flurry.
Yeah, so that honestly, I think he stole the episode for me. Yeah, it's my favorite episode so far. I did love the ending because I didn't really it was shocking, and I didn't expect it, but it kind of totally makes sense. But now, like Metabee said, that's leading me to be even more excited for the following episode. So I just feel like it's going like I was so afraid that the episode wouldn't really go where I wanted it to go, and I'd be left kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
But I think it's everything I wanted and more.
Did anybody notice? Was it too short again? I was just guessing that because I didn't.
It's always
I didn't
too short.
think about it or realize it.
It was
Now
a
that
short episode. It was a
Yeah.
very short episode.
Yeah.
Because I guess I would. It had me so engrossed this time that the
Yeah.
time it could have
Me
flown
too.
by. And
Yep.
it could have been long and flown by for all I know. I didn't even think to
Totally.
look.
Totally.
It was short. It was like only 41 minutes long.
Yeah.
This is getting ridiculous.
I felt like it was only
enough of that
30
crap.
minutes.
This is getting
Because
ridiculous.
when we start the episode, D and I pause it to see how long it is before we start, just to see if they shortchange us.
Yeah.
I would like to speak to a manager, please.
Yeah.
yeah.
Gun, you've
yeah,
been
pick a
called,
number.
Gun.
Pick a number.
But it did feel like this episode, even though it was short, did give us a lot.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I just didn't want it to end, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. That was awesome.
Right.
Good takes.
Yep.
Christopher, I'm ready to hear your take.
Yeah, Vigilante, freaking awesome into this, guys. I really liked that little brief cameo of Superman when he's getting the tech. You know, that was a really good scene there. Lex Luthor, you know, Nicholas Hoult. Man, I just really like how like these actors that are in these movies, actors and actresses that are in these movies, they're showing up in these TV shows now, and it just really makes for a great show. But I mean, at the end, right there, where Adebayo, when she's when she's walking out of the house, man, and that first initial stare, which I know that stare, and I'm like, oh, this is going down right now. And when that person just yelled, "It's a black," I just started laughing, guys. I was rolling with that. And then like she's like booking it down the road, like she's full blown sprinting, and I'm like, holy cow! She did not mess around with that scene.
Everybody coming out of their houses.
Yeah, it's an escape.
like zombies.
Man.
What did they say? She got out of the dungeon. There's somewhere everybody's being kept, right? I don't know if he said dungeon or something like that.
She got out. A black got out.
Or is that what they said?
Right?
She got out. Okay.
Something like that. They got out or something. But yeah, it's an interesting part right here. Yeah. Shane.
Yes. All right. So I was, enamored with this episode. So I started going down a rabbit hole of watching every bit of online content I could. I watched the podcast, and I watched a few other shows breaking down all the things you may have missed. So can you scroll back and show that image, the melting image for me, Hinano?
Oh yeah, for sure. Right here. You're talking about this one.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody picked it up, but you see how Keith is not holding up a peace sign. He's holding up 3 fingers. And apparently that is a reference to white nationalism or, and it's so interesting to me that like the way that the shot is composed, like his fingers are just low enough where it's not, if he would have been up a little higher, it would have been really visible against the lighter background. And like the fact that, Gunn, like every attention to detail is put into this, like this subtle thing in the background. You're more looking at the melting faces than you are about what's going on with the fingers. And then to have that just subtly below in the dark area where it's even more blended into the background. I mean, just brilliant. Like all of those tiny little details are fascinating to me. So yeah, I loved everything about this. For me, I was laughing out loud at how insane Vigilante is, that he's walking through the house fascinated and cracking up at every little thing, like the squirrels, and like he's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like talking to the squirrels out front. And the fact that like the little thing that he obviously made when he was a little kid, and it's slightly different. He's like, "What did you do? How did you do this?" Like, and then the Cheerios box, that's coming with me. And, like, just all of it was so funny. And then the thing when he's walking down the hall and he's like, "My dad's not gay in this universe."
He's all giddy.
Oh my gosh, it was, and then he's so happy when each one of the keys works. Every time, like it made me laugh each key that he was trying. Just his overjoyed with every aspect of him finding himself was great. There was so much great in this episode. The scene with Harcourt when she comes out of the bathroom and she says, "I just shit in."
Yeah, it's rancid in there.
I laughed out loud, and just Keith's reaction, like, "Wait, what?"
Oh.
And then cool. Like, I've never seen you wear black before, or pants. And she goes, "What? Am I gonna fucking walk around in my underwear?" Oh my god! Everything and then the wide shot with those two farting around in the closet while this interaction is going. This uncomfortable conversation while the two storylines going on simultaneously in the same shot was just brilliant. There was so much to love about this episode. It was so great. I can't rave about it enough. And then the unfurling of the flag, then they were talking about that in the podcast. The fact that they had purposely rolled them so that you wouldn't be able to see them in any of the other episodes when they showed that world, to keep that as, a surprise. Just so great. And, so there's so much that I'm looking forward to for episode 7, as far as we still haven't seen, Judo Master. So maybe Judo Master comes in and is the savior for ads, because those people are running real fast behind her. I feel like Judo Master would be able to take out all of them in about a minute. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so great. And I love, that scene with Harcourt and oh my god, and we didn't talk about the scene when when they go down in the basement and
Yes.
before they get in, and the mom starts talking about Harcourt being a
Yes.
slut.
Yes.
And the next girl said, "Oh my god, everything about
Economos' face. Do you see
Oh my
Economos' face?
gosh,
He's like,
yes." Everything about Vigilante is my favorite. I just love that character so much.
But did he say something like I had to base it on reality a little bit?
Yeah.
Or base the lie on reality or something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Oh
No,
my god.
I'm glad you brought that up. Like that was part of like my favorite part of the scene is the opening scene where like they go to the basement. The mom is totally walking out. Mom, stop following us. You're like a tick. You're like a tick on a whatever, right? You know what I mean?
That was my favorite line.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
using
click on your dick. Yeah.
I'm like instead of a pain in the neck, I know what I'm using now.
Yeah, exactly. That's bumper sticker material right there. And they get in there, they unlock everything, they open the thing up, and there's drugs and money. And it's like, why can't you shove flush your drugs on the toilet like a regular person, right?
Because of the alligators in the
right?
sewers, you ungrateful jerk, like whatever you call them.
No
And then,
problems.
one of the other rabbit holes I went down, they were talking about the throwaway line of her being a level, 42, whatever the thing was in Dungeons and Dragons. And they were like, it would take years to accomplish that kind of a level. So they've, obviously spent a ton of time playing Dungeons and Dragons together. Just like the little subtle things that you'd have to know more about to understand the level of time that they've spent together. Yeah. Great stuff.
Good, really good stuff. Another cool part about that is like we never talked about them going into QUC for the very first time and seeing what that looks like, and then you see the little alien come out with the rat, right? And he's like, "What the hell is that?" Right? Don't look at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't wave to it. It could mean this in their language. Why would it mean that? Oh my gosh, that's one thing I wanted to talk about too, real quick before they go into there. The secret room with the Beanie Babies. I mean, we all know each other from this world of collecting. That Beanie Baby scene hit a little too close to. It's like
I had like a lot of those.
These are going to come back and be valuable.
We all had them, D.
Yep.
All of us.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Those.
No, but you know what I love about them, sorry, and then you can go to MetaBeast. What I love about them was when Ads turns on the machine, they don't think like they're going to have this blast. Like there's drugs everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And they go stand in the back of the room behind the drugs, right? And that whole thing, boof. And they all look like they went to like the White Christmas, right? And the line was like, why can't you flush your drugs on the toilet like a regular person? Go ahead, MetaBeast.
So I don't, forgive me if we did talk about it, but I want to go back to episode 5 because I kind of forgot about it, but it really has made me wonder where does Harcourt actually stand in all this? I mean, she saved him there in the park, despite of how it may have come across, whatever. But how close was she to Rick Flag, and how hard did that really hit her? And how much does she blame Chris for it herself? Is she somebody to keep an eye on for in the future? Is she just waiting, bidding her time? I don't know.
She kind of mentions her relationship when her and Chris were in the room and they were getting all their feelings out. And she told him, I made it clear that I hated you so much when we first interacted. And so I think she's always been kind of like standoffish and very closed off to people. But because she's part of now the 11th Street, what's their group? 11th Street Kids. She, even though it may seem like she's like being a traitor or turning against one of them, she's just doing that to help save them or protect someone. I think deep inside she considers them like her family now. even though she did have that past relationship with Flag Jr.
And it's gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna gnaw on me because does that trump what happened? What I don't know her relationship with Junior, so but
Yeah, I
You
think
make a good point. You make a good point, Metabeast. Go ahead, Slider.
no, I was just gonna say, if to me it seems like her relationship with Junior was kind of like, they were good friends, they had benefits, but he kind of had like a girlfriend, like a crazy girlfriend, right? Like,
Crazy girlfriend.
yeah, right. And so that was something to her, but I think like Peacemaker kind of like caught her off guard, and she kind of like develop these feelings for him that she doesn't want to have, but she can't like get rid of them. And that's where she even said like, I've pretty much turned off my feelings, to you. I can't do this. I can't think about it. I'm a mess, and he says, I don't care. Like I still love you or whatever, so I think that's like a different level for her, which really affects her in a different way than Flag does. So I think, I think she's still torn, but I do think like this is becoming her family, and Peacemaker kind of like is opening her up to feelings that she doesn't want to feel. And that's kind of like where I think Gunn's going with it.
And
I
I
agree.
completely agree. I completely agree. Go ahead, Shay.
I was gonna say I agree 100%, and I feel like she's always been a solitary person. Didn't we learn that she doesn't have parents, or her parents passed away early on or something, and she doesn't have any siblings. She doesn't really have any friends because she's so focused on work, and this is her life. But she's starting to develop another life with this group of friends. And I think as far as if we're questioning her allegiance, I think that Slider, you brought up a good point that yes, Flag Jr. had this girlfriend, so she was kind of like a second to him. She was just a side piece, if anything. And then but with Chris, she feels like he prioritizes her, and he said that, and I think that's what made her realize that, oh, this is where I belong. And so I think her allegiance is really more with the group than just with Chris alone. So I think because of that, I think we're going to see the tide turn for her. I think she is going to just stay closer to this newfound family, because it's all she has now.
Didn't she
Yeah.
say though that Rick was always somebody she could talk to?
True.
She doesn't
Yeah.
really have anybody else she can talk to now. She doesn't really talk to them that much.
Yeah, but I think
she
my feeling about it is that her relationship with Rick Flag Jr. was more just as a friend. That was her close friend, but
Yeah.
she's emotionally connected to Chris. There's a difference. You can see the way that she's like hanging out with them afterward, almost like they got done playing a board game together after they're getting dressed. It's more like they're just friends that benefit of that thing that happened.
They have an
And,
understanding.
she has an emotional connection to Chris, which is new for her and unusual for her. That's the sense that I get.
Yeah,
That's
she's struggling
Yeah,
with
same here.
how do I deal with these feelings.
Yep.
The
That's
will
what I'm
they or
getting as
won't
well.
they?
Well, that's what I'm getting as well, and I want to talk about that scene because, and I know we've kind of already talked about it, but from start to finish, I really enjoyed how that scene played out. What I loved about that scene is we really got to see Gunn's wife be very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not emotional, but gosh, I don't know what the word is. It'll come to me later, but she was just very delicate in that scene to a point where you could see her emotions. She has feelings for him. You can see that. And like maybe like there were feelings of like regret and anger in the beginning from seasons 1 till now. But now that like she's had some time with them, the 11th Street kids, and you know what happens when you hang out with people. Look at us, right? You tend to have feelings for people, and you could see the emotion. We already know Chris loves her. He said it many times, but for her to not only acknowledge that she knows, but she wants him to come back. She says that, like, are you coming back? She starts tearing up. She is a hardened person, and she starts showing herself. She starts being, God, it's that word I can't find. She starts being that. Vulnerable. Thank you, sir. Vulnerable.
You
And
win.
yeah, like I love that. Like I love the whole scene. I love how they felt very vulnerable together. It was it was an enclosed scene. I was hoping no one would come in and ruin it, and it didn't happen that way. And in that scene, that really told me, okay, these two really have something. And now Chris is really screwed, right? Because it's like even more emotionally he was torn about it. But it's like he's already told his dad and everybody here he's here to stay and all that. He's made a life here in this new place that he doesn't know it's the Earth X till they walk out of the office, right? But in that one moment, it's like, crap. It's like, did you make the right decision by coming here, right? They're all here now. They came for you. He realizes that his friends, his family, this girl loves him. And I think now there's a crisis there as well, an existential crisis in his brain. And he doesn't realize that until he walks outside. And so there's all these emotions as well as the action now to come in episode 7. So.
Whew. All right. Yeah, that was I really enjoyed this episode. There's a lot of notes that I took. Like, so for their okay, so going back to Adebayo. So in the previous episode, she had told Chris, like, you know, what things aren't always greener on the other side. And this side where we are now is where you belong. And so coming to episode 6, what I noticed was, I don't know, it might be just my eyes or stuff that I caught. Adebayo waves. I mean, she generally is like a nice person. So she waves to that, to the creature, right, in the QUC, and they told her not to. And then when she's at Chris's house in the other universe, in the dimension, what do you call it? She tells Economos, do you want to go for a walk? Because, what did she say? Because it's safer than being in here. Come to find out, that is not true. So when she goes out, you also see her waving to the lady in the car that passes by. And so for me, like, I get like this whole thing, like they're kind of focusing somewhat on Adebayo. She's being all nice and friendly. And come to find out, she is going to be hunted down. And so all these people she's being, you know, nice to, it's like, it turns out they're really not nice people towards, I guess, her color. And what another thing I found out too that was interesting about like Harcourt is she's always like on the lookout. She's always so attentive, because when she's in the car with Keith, you see her just like look around, and they panel to her face a bunch of times, and then they panel to the street where they show people, and she has like that crease in her forehead, like something is not adding up. And then you find out at the end, like, yeah, there's like nobody of color here. And like Chris, like, to him it's just normal, right? He doesn't notice that until she points that out, and then he's like, oh shit. Because if you guys are all here, where does that leave ads, right? And so now I think it's like they're got a race to go and find her and hopefully save her. So that's just something else I caught. Another thing I noticed was in episode 5, a lot of colors that popped out to me, because they were in that universe, was the color red, or like shades of red was more prevalent in episode 5. And then episode 6, you see a lot of blue, specifically blue and white, like checkered or plaid colors. So I don't know if that was something that they did intentionally. Just something that I noticed. What else? I have a whole list, guys. Let me know if I'm boring you.
Yeah, you notice a lot. I
yeah, and then so going back to Vigilante's house, so back in our world, I noticed like the wreath on his door in our world was made of, they had sunflowers. And then in the other dimension, the wreath on his door was like ivy vines and red flowers. So I don't know if that was like meaning something. And when they are in his warehouse, and they stuff some money in their pockets and their pants, so they ended up going to the other dimension. So what happens when they get checked in their pockets and they see different money from another world? Did they not think of that? You can't use the same currency in another dimension.
You can't.
Right?
You can use.
Well, I don't know.
You can use the same keys, evidently.
But wouldn't because every bill has the president's face on it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, but
So like, who is there? Do they have the same president?
Was some of the money foreign? It didn't all look American to me.
Yeah, I think they're all because some of them were like reddish, like the different
I thought so
countries' currency. So I don't know. That was just stuff that I noticed.
That definitely
Wait,
makes
they
sense.
took
Yeah.
they took the money from their universe though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just won't be able to use it in Planet X.
Yeah, but I'm like, for me, like, I just thought, like, if they got caught, like how hardcore, the dog barked at her, but she only had to like take a pee test.
Oh, if they
search their
bodies
pockets and stuff,
find that
like,
money.
wouldn't they
Yes.
find money with like
Yeah.
different face or different president or
Yeah.
I don't know, just
Yeah.
something that I thought of.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see what else. I think that was it. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk.
I think they're all gonna get found out at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be that world against them.
Totally. And it seemed like at the very end of the episode, that's when like everyone was being found out, right? All the same
That's
time.
what I thought.
And
because there's two Harcourts now, they saw each other, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that puts.
And I like how they're so different. One is like all black and one's so bright colored. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm wondering now if Peacemaker is going to have to kill his family again. Like, he might end up having to kill his dad and then, his brother. So that could be pretty crazy because he did that in the last universe. And now this universe, he actually likes them, or he thought he liked them until he found out that they're pretty much just as bad as the other universe. And now, I don't know if he might have to go through that whole thing again, all those same kind of emotions of having to kill your family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
so
that his brother really that doesn't bother him. He wants his brother regardless.
Mm.
And he ends up helping. Maybe. I don't know.
I guess we'll have to see. Well, one thing I thought of like way after was when we saw Chris first go back and he spent the day with Hardcore and they had hot dogs and stuff. And then the SOLs were the resistance, right? So in this universe, now that we know that it's like Nazi supremacists, wouldn't Vigilante 2 be on our side? Because he doesn't like this Peacemaker in this world? You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
Or no?
Yeah. I mean, I think we fight against the brother and the father. Yeah.
Yeah, because Vigilante 2, he doesn't like his arch enemy is Peacemaker.
Right.
And so that would assume the top trio is his enemies.
Right.
So wouldn't our Vigilante team up with Vigilante 2 and go after the top trio because they're essentially the bad guys here now?
That is the assumption once Vigilante 2 gets convinced that. Right now he doesn't know that. And like, and that's the idea, right? Like they're gonna team up together. I know that's what everybody wants. I kind of took a different take on that might happen, but I think at the end of the day, we're not really gonna know whether or not the people in the alternate universe they're gonna team up with the 11th Street Kids, right?
To your point, Hinano, in season 1, a lot of people died. Not a lot of people have died yet.
Yes, you're 100%. And
It's
Gunn
coming.
said someone was supposed to die in episode 6, and they didn't. And I remember him specifically saying that. And so I was waiting for someone to die. And the person I told D that I thought was going to die was Vigilante, because it
Well-
made sense to kill him at the end. You know, when he found out, wait, you like Peacemaker? Because
Yeah.
as much as and I know you guys don't want this to happen, but as much as Vigilante has morals, he also strikes fast without thinking sometimes. And so I would think maybe he would strike without thinking, because he would think that this is like an alternate version of myself where he likes Peacemaker. Peacemaker's my enemy, so you must be my enemy, right? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I thought that's what was going to happen, was either he was going to die or Adebayo was going to die, because Gunn said someone was supposed to die in episode 6.
I don't think it'll be Abaddon.
I don't think it'll be her either. But also, so what I was saying earlier is that once Adrian learns that this Peacemaker is not the same Peacemaker as the one that he is in, that was his enemy, that this Peacemaker coming from a different dimension is the opposite, I think he'll come around and be on our side.
Yeah.
I guess
Double
we're gonna
the
have to find that
vigilante
out.
action.
We're going to have to
Yeah, and I
figure
think
that
it
out.
depends on what is the basis for the animosity between them. Why is
Yeah.
he his enemy? I think we need to know that.
Well, I think they're the resistance group, you know, that's fighting
Yeah.
against the white supremacists. And
Oh,
so I think
probably.
that, so I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I have an interesting speculation at the very end of this, which I think may happen, because now that we've established we're on Earth X, that's what it is, everybody. There are characters that have not shown up yet from that storyline. But before we get into that, guys, I want to get into, because we kind of discussed both episodes, kind of give me your guys' favorite character moment. And I'm going to kind of frame this for you guys, because I have 2 favorite character moments. I mean, obviously the Harcourt and Chris scene was my favorite scene, very emotional, but I guess in a specific character moment, right? And so between 5 and 6, my favorite character moments between 2 individuals, and one was Tim Meadows right here. Tim Meadows was just very cool, because like in episode 5, where Economos books Chris, he actually goes and tells him that was a good thing you did. And that really establishes that this character has morals. There's some set of morals with him, regardless if he's calling people, you know, titties right here, right? He's got his own morals and stuff like that. And that's what I really loved about that, when I got to see that part where he heard Harcourt, or he saw Harcourt and Economos looking at each other. He said, hey, that was a good thing you did. Another thing that I liked about him is when he was in the office with Rick Flag, and Flag's like really telling him, you know, we're going to have to hunt him down and everything like that. But I got to think, you know, I got to think.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
do nothing. I just got to think, right? Like, do you want me to do an APB? Don't do nothing. And he shuts the door. Instead of walking out, he sits down with him. He crosses his left fingers and he goes, you know, he sighs. And Flag's looking at him like, are you crazy?
Like,
That
are you
means get
serious
out,
right
right?
now?
You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, you want me to leave, right? And he leaves. And for me, I thought that was a very funny moment. I really enjoyed that. And like, you know, you guys already know Tim Meadows is one of my favorite characters. Another really cool standout moment was Economos. Economos stood out to me in the 2 episodes with the booking of Chris telling Harcourt that he's a big wimp and all that stuff. But like, this guy's progression for being a very big wimp to like, he's still a wimp, but he tries his best not to be a wimp, to a point where he's literally telling Augie the whole entire plan, and Peacemaker killed your son, right? You know, there's always these little moments with him when he's smiling, when you got Vigilante's mom basically ratting him out on all the lies, and he's like, you're full of shit kind of thing. He gave that full of shit smile at the beginning of episode 6. And then the moment where he's like almost ready to puke, right? And that moment where Harcourt comes out like, yeah, I just took a shit. And then you see like Vigilante and Adebayo in the closet, and he's hiding behind the door, and he's wanting to throw up so bad because he's just weird in his head, right? He's just a weird person. So these are my 2 character moments. What about you guys? Go ahead, Shay.
I think my favorite character moment would definitely be when Amelia Harcourt like had that moment of realization when, with between her and Chris, I feel like she had a moment of realization. And when she said, I'm really fucked up on the inside, no one would love me, no one would want me. And he's like, but I still love you. I think that moment was a big growth moment for her character, because she is who she is. She's very guarded. And this was the first time that she finally kind of let go and was like, oh, wait a minute, what? No, she was like really taken aback by it. So I thought that was a really great moment for her, big character growth moment. Let's see. I don't know. I can't remember episode 5 that much, but I guess episode 5, I would say, when Eagly showed that he was the prime eagle. I think that was a really cool scene. It just kind of established, like, wow, he's that, So I think those are the two for me.
Do you think Eagly is actually like a shapeshifter, like Beast Boy?
Good question. No.
Okay.
I don't think so, because I feel like his character and his demeanor in and of itself is pretty strong. He does not need that extra superpower.
Got you. Just something to throw out there. I'm always throwing out little tidbits here and there on my spec. Metabees, character moments. What stood out for you?
Any I love seeing the Eagly action. So that's him getting. I'm so glad he got his. I don't know if you call it revenge. I suppose it could be, because there was an attempt at poisoning him. So I was happy for that. I'm like, because it tripped me out at first when the first eagle flew over, and I'm like, no way, what? I thought it was a fake out, which it evidently wasn't. He did shoot something, but I love seeing more of Eagly in action. I think it was in one of after the 5th episode, the commentaries afterwards or something, they said something about Eagly may be the most powerful of them all. So I'm excited to see where they take Eagly and what he or it actually is and about. I'm hoping they reveal something like that anyway.
I'm with you on that one.
And I guess the other was Abadao. I can't. Why can't I say her name?
Adebayo.
Abadayo.
Abadayo.
Or ads.
Abadayo. I can't.
Adebayo?
It's Adebayo.
Adebayo. Adebayo.
I'm just
not a B.
I'm just trying to think of her in that situation has got to be the most crazy, insane thing. I mean, I know, I'm sure she's felt some kind of racism in some ways, but not people fucking yelling, "It's a black," and then the whole fucking neighborhood starts running after you. That has got that. I just, sorry. That, I just, that's.
I felt
crazy.
that. I was like, oh shit, they're coming after her.
I'm rooting for her very much. So, and I'm hoping, I think somebody mentioned maybe whatever the little ninja guy's name is.
Master. Yeah.
Yeah, that he shows up and helps her out.
We're gonna have to find out.
I don't think Chris and Harcourt are in a position to do anything, and Economos isn't.
Yeah, he's a little bit stuck.
So anyway, those are mine, I guess.
We also have Eagly.
That's true. But he was eating bologna last time we saw him, right? So
but she opened the bologna for him.
That is very true, and he is actually
he likes her.
Warming up to her now. You're right. I forgot about Eagly. He's there.
He's gonna
save Economos. Yay! That part.
Well, Gunn said that next episode is going to be action packed. So I think we're just going to start off right from a bang right there. But
what day is today? Sunday. Thursday.
And that's
Thursday.
That's a long ways away.
It is too long.
Slider, character moments. What was yours?
All right, I think episode 5, I would have to go with the very end with the note, because I think it kind of like sheds a new light on, Peacemaker. Like this season, it seems like he's been more, you know, trying to get himself together from the first season. He's more open with his feelings. It's not all just like, like in the first season, like he kind of had the wall up, like where he would just, make comments and, just so nobody would like really talk to him, kind of like, off-putting to people, because I think that's just how he dealt with people. So I think this kind of like really shows that, like he thinks that this is the better choice, but he really still cares about his friends, because he says like, hey, take the the portal, machine, use it, get yourselves out of trouble, and just basically shows how he feels about them. And then I think it shows kind of with Hardcore too. It's like, you can see her kind of in that end scene where she's like, oh, is he really gone? Kind of like, and she gets like, she's the one that says, like, come on, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna, rescue him. Like, she's the one that says that. So, and I think that leads into the next episode where, probably the best character scene I think is between both of them, in the room where they're, going back and forth, and he's saying like, basically you keep saying all this stuff, but like, what do you really feel like about me? And she kind of tries to deflect, but he like really won't let her, and then she has to like, kind of like say how she does feel, and she wants him to come back, but it's like she doesn't want to say it, but she just kind of says like, are you coming? Are you going to come back now? And even Peacemaker, he makes a comment and he says, like, basically like, you're the one I want. Like the other Hardcore, she's okay, and everything, but like, she's not you, basically, is kind of what he's saying. So I think that just shows like good character development, from last season to this season, but also between those episodes. So yeah, I really like those two parts.
Let's go. Raven.
I would have to go with Vigilante for 500. Yeah, I think he outshined himself in this episode. The scene between the two of them was fantastic, and it really, like, you have got me thinking, like, how could this play out? I think your way is still wrong, but there are still possibilities. I just thinking maybe there'll be a moment of self-reflection, because I think that is one thing that Vigilante kind of lacks, is that he can't really look at himself. Like, I think he sees things sometimes just very one-dimensional, and he's never really reflected on his actions or his behaviors, or how he maybe infringes on people's space and stuff like that. So maybe he'll learn something from Vigilante too. I'm not sure. But I'm curious to see what happens between the two of them. I hope they team up, but in the end, I don't know if there can be two of them.
It's a good question. That's a very
like,
good
does
question.
that dimension blow up? Like, I don't know.
Well, another thing you got to ask yourself, how much does he really hate Peacemaker? And will it affect the point where, as much as he likes himself, I'm talking about alternate, he hates Peacemaker so much that throw morality out the window for myself. I don't like you because you like this guy, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, so that honestly was my favorite scene. And watching his character I really enjoy, and I'm curious to see where it goes. All the other, I think a lot of the other characters had some standout moments too. Hardcore and Peacemaker, that scene between them, I thought was awesome to see that emotional side of it, and not always just the hard smashing fight scenes and stuff. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next episode.
Right.
Yes, speaking of that, sorry, I feel like, when they're in the car, Chris, Ads, and Adrian, he mentioned like, all the worlds is, Peacemaker and Vigilante are like best friends, except the one he goes into. That's
Yep.
like the only that's like not consistent, right? So I thought that was kind of cool that they mentioned that, and then come to find out it's not true. Anyways, sorry. Continue.
No. Character moments, Christopher.
Yeah. Episode 5, loved it when Rick Flag Sr. was kicking ass on Peacemaker. It just was a powerful statement. I love, when the tables are turned there for a second. And I gotta say, on episode 6, had to be Lex Luthor. Just love that devilish, powerful scene. This devilish demeanor, even though he's in there for a brief time, really makes you think what else he's up to. And can't wait to see how that ties into future movies. We'll see.
Yeah, I love that you bring that up. It's kind of like, whenever like these movies start, like these actors first start playing these characters, like maybe the first movie they didn't really get their groove. And like I think by Man of Tomorrow, Lex is gonna get his groove, and we're really gonna get to see him flesh this character out even more so. And I like to see the character development of certain characters where it's like they change over time, whether they get more knowledgeable or they grow. You know what I mean? So yeah, I love that. Shane, your character moments.
Character moments for me from episode 5. For me, it was the confrontation between Harcourt and Bordeaux, because I think that there was a lot more going on with that line of dialogue. She was standing up to Bordeaux, but she was really professing her love essentially for Chris in that moment, because she's willing to go to battle for him, and that's her way of showing love. I think willing to fight. And for the character moment in 6, it has to be Vigilante. Just him laughing his way down the hallway, and just his interaction with himself, just chef's kiss. Couldn't be any better. I seriously want a Vigilante spinoff series.
Hopefully we get it, and hopefully someone still stays alive. D, character moments, and then we'll close it
get
out.
Vigilante on the podcast.
Oh, that'd be
Metabeast, you're good
amazing.
at that. Metabeast, you're good at that. Let's see if you can make it happen, my friend. D, anything that stood out for you?
For me, for episode 5, it was after they come back to the apartment and they're reading Chris's note, and Ads goes into the bedroom and she sees Adrian just being all sad, and they hug, like she's there to comfort him because he normally doesn't show that side of himself, only to turn it around on her. And in the other moment when he's like, no, you were crying, I was comforting you. But in that moment, at the end of episode 5, I thought that was a really nice moment. And then right after that, they just get right back to work to go and try and rescue Chris as as a group again. And then for episode 6, what really stood out to me as well, even though it's like probably just a small piece, is when they're in Vigilante's warehouse and he's like righteous in the moment where he tells them like, yeah, I'm not going to use all these money that I took from the criminals because it technically is blood money. So I think he still has some kind of good morals, within himself, that he doesn't
Those alligators.
always portray. Yeah, and he's like looking out for the alligators. I mean, there's a lot of animals that were mentioned in this episode.
He's a zoologist.
Yeah, and
Manta rays.
and it was like a really quick scene, but when they showed Harcourt to come into the office, and Billy, the security guard, like says hi, they show his screen, and he's what shows on his screen is an owl. He's like scrolling, and it's a picture of an owl. I just caught that. But yeah, those were the key moments that stood out for me for each episode. What about you, Hinano?
Well, I kind of gave my key moments already, and so we're coming at the tail end of the show, guys, where we're going to give our final thoughts as well as speculation. Now, here's my speculation, you guys. Since we're now in Earth X, we've established the Sons of Liberty are actually the good guys, the freedom fighters, and the top trio and whoever else is in the world is actually not. In the storyline for Earth X, the hero is actually Lex Luthor. if you believe it or not. He's actually the guy that's in charge of the freedom fighters in Earth X. And I know Gunn has said this. He said that we are not going to get Superman in this season. He said we're not getting Superman. He didn't tell everybody that we weren't going to get Overman, who is the Superman in Earth X. David Corenswet was already on set. He never said David Corenswet wasn't going to be in this season. He said Superman. Overman is not Superman. So this is my speculation. I speculate we're going to see Lex again, or we're going to see an iteration of Lex, whether he's on a poster or he's on a wanted poster, as being the hero of Earth X with the Sons of Liberty. And we're going to see this guy pop up in episode 8. That's my speculation. That's what I think is going to happen. That's where I think we're going. I also think Bordeaux is going to show up as an alternate version. And here's what's so funny. When I was actually getting the episode ready today, guys, I was telling the AI to try to compile a list of like breakdowns, moments, because I can't remember everything. And it gave me something that hasn't happened yet. It told me that in a character moment, Bordeaux shows up as one of the head freedom fighters for the Sons of Liberty. And then I asked it, where did you get this from? And it said, oops, sorry, you wanted episode 5 and 6. I'm like, what? You have episode 7 already? So what the AI does is it compiles and it tries to find all the information that's out there, what's been said, spoilers, and it brings it to the table. So I believe it got that information from that. Whether that's white noise, because you know that AI can have some white noise, I don't know. But I think other people are going to come on. Another thing I want to point out is when I was watching Gunn's podcast, when they saw the scene with Vigilante's mom in the alternate universe, they had the dad. And obviously, you know, Vigilante's like, oh, my dad's not gay. At one time, the scene was going to be John Economos there making out with the mom on the couch, right? And so, like, who knows where Economos is in this world, or all these other guys? I think all these other guys are going to show up, but this guy is going to show up. Shay, final thoughts and speculations. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, that's a great little theory you've got there, but what do you think if Lex from our world goes to Earth X and confronts the Lex in that world? What could happen then? That's just a little wrench in your plan. As far as theories are concerned for what could happen next, I do agree with you that not Superman, but Overman could show up. I also think that how many episodes are left of this season? Do we have like 2 or 3 left? Probably towards the end, right? 2. Oh my God. What are we going to do afterwards? Since we only have 2 left, I feel like everything will come to a close at the very, very end. I feel like the next episode is going to be a little bit of a teaser till we get to finally get to the end of it. But I think that I think they're all going to come back, and I think they're going to be able to convince Chris to come back, and he's going to come to the realization that, you know, while the grass may be greener here, it's just not the world for me, even though it seems like there are so many things that really are that he has in that world that he doesn't in the other. He's going to feel like it's just not it for him. I know that sounds kind of generic, isn't it? Sorry.
Hey, sometimes we got to have a clear-cut vision right there. So let's go. Metabeast.
I don't have a ton of speculation. I'm very intrigued and curious. I'm really hoping they tell us more about Eagle's story. But oh shoot, I did have one speculation and it just poof went gone. It has to do with, so like I said before, season 1, a lot of people died, and it was a lot of people that kind of took you by surprise. They may not have been exactly main players, but they were somebody you, like the entire police station, actually.
Harcourt almost died.
Yep. So I'm just thinking, who are all the ones that are probably in the red shirts? And you know, you got Meadows and his group.
Yeah.
Flag.
I've come to terms with that. Even that we're going to lose him.
And then there's the gang themselves. So That's
You know,
what I
it's
think.
fitting that this is you saying this, by the way. You do know this.
Yes,
This
I know,
is
I
story
know.
time.
Yes, I know. I'm very aware of that.
Well, I wanna actually kind of also talk in the lines of what he's saying. If you guys watched Avengers, Gamora died, and she comes back, right? In Galaxies, right? And she's a different Gamora. So I'm saying that can happen in Gunn's universe. Just saying. All right. Anyway, Slider.
Yeah, I think that Judo Master is hiding in the house, and I think he's gonna team up with Eagly maybe and help save, Economos and Adebayo when that kind of it's revealed that like this is a Nazi racist world, and there's gonna be kind of like a fight, in that world, maybe in the first, scene or so of this, and then I think they're gonna like retreat back into the portal and kind of try to make their way back into the other universe. And I'm not sure exactly. I think it might end on a cliffhanger there, but I think Overman, like you said, he didn't say Superman, he said Overman. I think he might, pop in. But also a little bit of speculation I had on who I think built the doors, the portal. I think it is from the New Gods. And going down rabbit holes and digging is that the New Gods, had a civilization, and they basically, they had New Genesis, and then Dark Side is from Apocalypse, but they have a technology, and it's called the boom tube. And it's a device that's portable that when it opens a portal to another dimension, it actually creates a shockwave that blows people back. That's why it's called the boom tube. And also, like Orion, who is one of the New Gods, his armor and tech that he uses makes shockwaves and stuff. So it's very similar to Peacemaker stuff. And just with Gunn, I could see him like pulling kind of a more obscure kind of like, characters into this. And plus like Dark Side and that whole story is like in a multi-dimensional place. They exist kind of out of space and time. So, I think I'm thinking that might be what's going on. And somehow they got the tech, or, Dark Side is helping the, the other, you know, the other Peacemaker's father and stuff. And, somehow I think they got the tech, and I think that's who created the portal. Now, I don't know, because I don't know about the imps and they had it and stuff, but I don't know. That's kind of what I was going with for that. So I think it's going to tie into like a bigger story, and Darkseid's going to come in at some point. I don't know the next movie, but maybe like the movie after that. So, yeah.
Interesting. I like that. I'm gonna start going down that a little bit more. I never thought about that route. That's cool. I like that. Awesome. Raven, final thoughts and speculation.
Final thoughts. I'm not really good at the speculation thing. Like, this was my favorite episode between both first and second season. I do think the next episode is going to be bloodbath. It's going to be dirty. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be wild. I think the final episode will kind of clean things up a little bit, but I don't think the team's going to be left the same. I think they'll be together again, but they'll be either somebody will be missing or it'll be different in some way.
They're going to switch.
And the one thing about the episode that kind of bothered me, or I didn't really understand why it was so easy for them to press all the buttons and make the portal door. I feel like that should have been a little bit more difficult, and I think that xenomorph alien guy has something to do with that device. I just don't understand where you keep seeing him walk in.
Yeah.
And he looks sad, and it's like, yeah, I don't know.
So I did research on that alien. He's a Krylon, or what was he called? So the alien is in the credits.
It's cryptotic or kyprotic or something.
Yeah, like a kyphonic alien. And so, because we were watching the trailer, or not the trailer, the end credits, I'm like, look, it actually says the alien. And so I thought that was a lead to figure out what it was. And come to find out, that is a brand new alien that Gunn created for the universe. So we don't know who that really is. And it could be like a brand new thing, and that's who created QUC. That's the thing. Is like, or maybe the QUC is just one of those things where it's just there and just go with it, kind of a thing. Who knows?
Maybe.
He's cleaning up. He's getting rid of all the rats in the house.
He very much is. Christopher, final thoughts and speculations.
Yeah. Whew. I don't know. Are we gonna see Soup in the next episode? Okay, that's all I want to know. I want to see more of it.
We're gonna see Overman, man. That's what's happening. We're gonna see
Overman.
We're gonna see Overman.
Overman, yeah. If we see Overman, yeah, we're gonna see Overman. Want to see more?
I say yes. I say yes. I mean, I think the one thing Gunn is establishing here is, and this is what the MCU's been trying to do, but like if you watch like when the MCU first tried this with like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you get like all the B characters that showed up. Yeah, granted they had Samuel L. Jackson showed up once, but like not the big main players. Like, boom, we got Lex Luthor, you guys. Like that's a big main player, right? Why wouldn't David Cornswet show up, right? Or anybody else from the movies show up? We already know next episode someone from Lex Luthor's gang is showing up. I think Otis, as well as the other guy, is going to show up, and Otis is a very pivotal character in Superman lore. So I just like that. I like how, like, you know, it doesn't matter that this is Peacemaker. It doesn't matter it's a more raunchy show. It doesn't matter that it's just like one of those out of color shows. The whole universe is connected to it, and I think that's what's so cool. Shane, final thoughts and speculation.
I mean, obviously this was the best episode of the season. So many great moments. As far as speculation goes, that's a good question. We have 2 episodes to go. I think you're right. I think that we will see, what is it? Uberman or
Overman.
Overman. My feeling is that they're probably all going to get captured, and they'll have to do an escape to make it back through the portal. I think that what's going to happen over the next 2 episodes is that's what's going to happen. They're going to be captured, and then there's going to be an escape. And I think that Shay, you're absolutely right. They're not going to. It's not going to be the same group, unfortunately, that comes back through. They are not going to come out of this unscathed, as it were. And that's sad because, you know, now 2 seasons in, we care about all these characters and we don't want to see them get hurt. Yeah, but that's kind of where my head's at. That's what I think is going to happen.
D, and I'm with you, Shane. I think everything you said, I'm above board with.
Yeah, I agree. Episode 6 was the most action, most the best episode so far, in my opinion. I believe if they are gonna bring Overman, I believe he may be coming in on the last episode to kind of leave us also in kind of some kind of suspense, or leading into, hopefully it'll be season 3. Yeah, I think they're all gonna get caught, but the 2 vigilantes are gonna team up and go and look for the friends. And then Eagly's gonna come out and start taloning everybody. Yeah, that's a new word. Yeah. I can't wait to see though. And I hope they're not 30 minutes long. Come on, Gunn. Give us like at least an hour.
Maybe what they did is they condensed all these other episodes, so like the last 2 could be the longest.
Right? I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so. That's what I'm rooting for.
Wishful thinking, right?
Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been fun. And was it you, Shane? I was telling somebody, like, I haven't had, because we've reviewed a bunch of shows on this channel, throughout when we first started Severance. But like one of my favorite was always when we would talk about long-standing seasons of a show, like Severance, right? Like, and I remember you got and our crew wasn't here for when we first did Severance, but we had so much fun just unpacking those episodes, and I really enjoyed unpacking Peacemaker. I think Peacemaker is like one of those milestone, one of those shows that comes out of nowhere, and you're like, wow, this is really, really good TV. You know what I mean? And so, like, I really enjoy not only watching good TV, but talking about it with all my friends here. And I don't know if we're called the 11th Street Kids. I like to call ourselves the Fremont Crew, even though some of you don't know what that means. You are in the Fremont Crew. And I think that's just really fun to do this with our friends here. So thank you guys so much for coming on. I appreciate the audience for watching. If you're watching now live or on the replay, Dee, close out the show.
Yeah, just want to thank you. Awesome panel. Always love talking with you guys and getting to know everyone's take on the episode and the show. And just appreciate everyone else for being here too and just hanging out with us. This has been awesome. And looking forward to, I'm like sad and happy. I'm looking forward to the next 2 episodes, but not because after that, then I'll be ending and then we have to wait like 50 more years for the next season. So you know how it goes.
What will we watch next, right?
Yeah.
I went and looked. They said that Severance season 3 is coming out in like 2026. Like, oh well, I can't, not that anytime soon. But one more thing before we go. Before we go, I wanted to wish a happy birthday to Metavis. That's this week. I'm not gonna say what day it is, but it is this week. Happy birthday, Metavis. Also, happy birthday, Big Bro. We didn't forget about you, man, hiding in the chat. It's also your birthday this week. I won't tell you guys what day it is, but these guys always catch me on mine, so I figure we'll do it early. Happy birthday, Metavis. Happy birthday, the biggest, bro. We love you guys, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, and aloha.
Bye. Happy birthday.